All right, shalom, shalom. This is the brother Shakar here with another lesson through the power and spirit of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. Before I get started, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'Hashem, Yahushai, Ba'Hashem, Rakah Kwadash, and double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and the elders of the great millstone from which I learned this truth. Peace and blessings to the house of David doing his work with all righteousness, truth, and sincerity. And I want to say shalom to the hopeful elect. Shalom. All right, I just want to get into a question. How do we know that we are the Israelites? Okay, how do we know that we are the people, of the Lord, according to what was written in the scriptures, in the Holy Bible? Ultimately, it's through the power and spirit of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, but it all points back to what? To prophecy. And if you believe the words, of our Lord, well, the scripture tells us that Yahushai, he is the spirit of prophecy. Let me start there. Let's go to the book of Revelation, chapter 19 and verse 10. And it says, "And I fell at his feet to worship him." Now this is speaking about, John the Revelator. It says, and he right here he's speaking to an angel. And he said unto me, "See thou do it not. I am thy fellow servant, and of thy brethren that have the testimony of Yahushai." You see, so this angel saying, don't worship me. I'm just a fellow servant, just like you. Listen, again, it says, "See thou do it not. I am thy fellow servant, and of thy brethren that have the testimony of Yahushai." It says, worship Yahweh. It says, for the testimony of Yahushai, listen, is the spirit of prophecy. You see, when you go into prophecy, it brings everything to light. So when you're dealing with, who are the people, who are not the people, it all points back to the prophecies. I actually had this pulled up earlier. I was looking at it, and we're gonna read it real quick because it's going into the times of the Gentiles, and I'm just gonna get a quick overview because I think there's something that helps explain, who we are and who those people are, you see? But let me get this real quick. It says the time of the Gentiles is a biblical prophecy. You see, everything points back to prophecy, referring to the long epoch of it says Jewish, but it should say Israelites, domination over Jerusalem, and world power. It says beginning with the Babylonian captivity in C606 BC and ending, with the second coming of Yahushua Mashiach. Now, when you go into the time of the Gentiles, it's speaking about, the pagan rulerships, man. Again, it begins, with the Babylonian captivity. Let me get this real quick. This is a statue, that Nebuchadnezzar had the dream of it. And Daniel, gave the interpretation, through the power and spirit of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. Lord willing, you can see it. I know it's probably going to be a little bit blurry, but I'll read it. It says, it says Babylonian Empire. That's the first. That was the first pagan rulership, major. That's the first major pagan rulership, because when the statue was shown to Nebuchadnezzar in the dream, it revealed what? 4 major rulerships. Again, the Babylonian Empire is the first one. The second one is the Medo-Persian Empire. The Medes and the Persians. The third one is the Grecian Empire. And the fourth one is the Roman Empire. Now we're in that second leg of the Roman Empire, as it speaks of in the scriptures, which is what right here it says divided kingdoms. Listen, headed by the revived Roman Empire, which is America. You see, right now we're in that second leg. The revived Roman Empire. The little horn that was wounded to death, but lived. You see? Let me get a quick precept on that. I think I brought this out yesterday in my lesson, but I'll bring it out again. Revelation chapter 13 And verse 3, it says, and I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed. And all the world wondered after the beast. Saying, going back to what? The book of Daniel. Matter of fact, let me see. I believe it's in my notes here. Yep. Daniel 7 and 8. Let's go there. Let's go to the book of Daniel, chapter 7 and verse 8. And it says, and I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn, before whom, it says, there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots. Okay, going into what? The Revolutionary Wars. Okay, you had the French, the Spanish, okay, and the British. It says here, it says, and behold, in this horn were eyes like the eyes of man, and a mouth speaking great things. See, and that's that little horn, okay, that was wounded to death, man. Okay, that speaking about what the revived Roman Empire, okay, during the time of the Renaissance period. Okay, when you go into that Renaissance period, it means what? It means a rebirth. Okay, the rebirth of what? The Greco-Roman, okay, mindset. Okay, which we're in today. You see, and when you go into the prophecies, it tells you that Jerusalem, okay, is going to be trodden down of the Gentiles. So the time of the Gentiles is completed. Matter of fact, or fulfilled. Let me grab that. This is the book of Luke, chapter 21 and verse 24. It says, and they shall fall by the edge of the sword. Speaking about, at this time, it was primarily, okay, the southern kingdom. Although we did have some northern kingdom, okay, mingled among them. You see, this is the time of the Roman siege, man. Okay, the siege of the Roman Empire. It says again, it says, and they shall fall by the edge of the sword and shall be led away captive into all nations. Okay, telling you what? That our people were scattered, man. Okay, going back to what? Prophecy. What does it tell us in the book of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter? Going back to the curses. Matter of fact, let me grab that real quick. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 64. Yeah, and it reads, it says, listen, and the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai shall scatter thee among all people. Listen, from one end of the earth even to the other end, and thou shalt serve other gods, okay, with the little g, which goes into what? False idols, man. Listen, it says, which neither thou or thy fathers have known, see, even wood and stone. See, and that's what happened to us as a people, scattered to the four corners of the earth, okay, worshiping, okay, foolish idols, man. You see, so again, it all goes back to prophecy. So let me go back. Again, Luke 21, verse 24, it says, and they shall fall by the edge of the sword and shall be led away captive into all nations. See, and Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled. Okay, and what is that telling you? That there's Gentiles in the land right now, and they're going to be there, okay, till the Lord comes back. We just read it. Let's get it again. When we read that overview in Google, it says, listen, the time of the Gentiles is a biblical prophecy referring to the long epoch of it says Jewish, but Israelite domination over Jerusalem and world power. Listen, beginning with the Babylonian captivity, it says from C606 BC, listen, and ending with the second coming of Yahushua HaMashiach. Okay, telling you that what? There's Gentiles there, natural Gentiles. You see, proving that, hey, those are not the people. You see? And then even when you go into the prophecy, it tells you what people actually took that land. Let's get that. Let's go to Ezekiel. Ezekiel chapter, let me see, how's that? 36 and verse 5. Listen, it says, therefore thus saith the Lord power, surely in the fire of my jealousy have I spoken against the residue, see, of the heathen, and against all Idumea. Okay, Idumea is the Greek way for saying Edom, the Edomites. It says, which have appointed, listen, my land into their possession, with the joy of all their heart, with despiteful minds, to cast it out for a prey. You see, and how do we know that it's Edom, okay, that's in there. Because according to prophecy, okay, the Israelites were not going to go into the land, back into the land, okay, until the time of the end, man. To the time of what? The third woe. Let's get that real quick. And let's go to the book of Joel, chapter 3 and verse 1. Listen, it says, "For behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem," okay, that's what taking us out of captivity, all 12 tribes. It says, "I will also gather all nations and will bring them down," listen, "into the valley of Jehoshaphat," which is what? The place of judgment, man. Listen, "and will plead with them, therefore my people," plead going to a judge. The Lord going to judge these nations. Listen, "and I will plead with them there, listen, for my people and for my heritage, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land." Now, we just read who did that. Okay, it was the Edomites. But you also have what? So-called Arab nations living there. You see, and you also have some Hamites. Okay, you have other nations, okay, among them. Okay, and you even got Israelites among them. But as a whole, as a people, okay, Israel has not gone back yet. Okay, we're still waiting, okay, till the Lord, okay, takes us back, okay, as a whole, as a people. You see, and that's not going to happen, okay, till the third woe. That's not going to happen till this last war, okay, breaks out till its full extent. So again, just showing you that the people that are in the land right now, they're not the people. Okay, so how do we know that we are the people? Well, if you go back to the curses, it says that it was going to be for a sign and for a wonder, okay, of who we are. It all points back to prophecy. Let's go to the book of Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 15. Listen, "But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai thy power, listen, to observe, to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I commanded thee this day, that all these curses should come upon thee and overtake thee." And we didn't, as a people. Okay, we did not take heed, okay, to the Lord's commandments. Okay, we broke them. Okay, we couldn't do it. So the Lord said, "What? I'm going to put these curses upon you." Let's just go down to verse 45. Listen, it says, "Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee and shall pursue thee and overtake thee till thou be destroyed, because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai thy power," listen, "to keep his commandments and his statutes, which he commanded thee. Listen, and they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder upon thy seed forever." You see, so this is a way to identify, okay, who the true people of the Lord are, man. You know, this doesn't say that the people of the Lord were going to what? Own Hollywood, okay, own the media, okay, receive millions or billions of dollars in reparations. No, man, it's saying that these people were going to be what? Downtrodden, okay, that they were going to be in the destroyed state, man. Okay, now who's that speaking about? What people, okay, live in the hoods, the barrios, the ghettos, the reservations? What people are considered, okay, the bottom of the barrel, man? Okay, that's the Israelites, man. Okay, primarily you so-called Negroes, so-called Hispanics, and so-called Native Americans. But we know through the power and spirit of the Lord that Israel's going to come looking like anybody and everybody. Let me jump up to verse 36. Verse 37. Listen, "And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword." Listen, "among all nations." Okay, what's a byword and a proverb? Okay, a nigga, a wetback, a tonto. Okay, so on and so forth, man. Okay, what people are known by these bywords? So again, this gives you a clear indication, okay, of who the true people of the Lord are. Again, the true people of the Lord weren't going to own Hollywood and receive all kinds of money and pretty much own all the banks. No, the true people of the Lord were going to be in a downtrodden position. You see, and when it also comes to these four major rulerships, okay, as a people, okay, we always knew who we were. Okay, except in this last one, the last leg of that Roman Empire, okay, that revived Roman Empire, okay, we didn't know who we were. Matter of fact, okay, prophecy, again, everything points back to prophecy. Okay, well, let's get it. Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 17 and verse 4. Listen, and thou even thyself shall discontinue from thy heritage that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thy enemies in the land which thou knowest not. For ye have kindled a fire in my anger, which shall burn forever. Again, going into what, a very, very long time. But now, through the power and spirit of the Lord, okay, we know who we are, man. And we know who our enemies are. But again, in every other captivity, we knew we were the Israelites. But now in this captivity, we don't know. Okay, that's why it says that, and they should remember themselves. Lord willing, we'll get that next. You see, when it comes to the people in the land, okay, they claim that they've always known, okay, who they were. But the prophecy here says what? That they're going to discontinue from their heritage. Okay, we're going to forget who we were. But now in this time, in this captivity, okay, we understand again who we are through the power and spirit of the Lord. Let me get that. This is the book of Baruch, chapter 2. And let me start off from verse, let me see. I'll just start off from verse 30. It says, for I knew that they would not hear me, listen, because it is a stiff-necked people. But in the land of their captivities, they should remember themselves. So what is that telling you? It means that we forgot who we were at a certain point. We just read it. We just read it in Jeremiah 17 and 4. The Lord said that you're going to discontinue from thy heritage. So as a people, we weren't going to know who we were. But now, through the power and spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, we know. Listen, and shall know that I am the Lord their power. Listen, for I will give them a heart and ears to hear. So it's a blessing, okay? It's a gift from Yahweh Shem Yahushai to what? To give us that spirit, man. The spirit of wisdom, the spirit of understanding, to know who we are. Listen, and they shall praise me in the land of their captivity. See, and think upon my name. Calling upon the proper name, man. The name of the Father Yahweh and the name of the Son Yahweh Shai. It says, listen, and return from their stiff neck and from their wicked deeds, for they should remember the way of their fathers, which sinned before the Lord. You see, and who's doing that, man? Well, the whole full elect, man. You know, they're remembering the ways, okay, of our ancestors. Okay, remembering our heritage. Okay, coming back, okay, to us understanding, okay, that we are the people. Listen, verse 34, it says, and I will bring them again into the land which I promised with an oath, listen, unto their fathers Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and they shall be lords of it. And I will increase them, and they shall not be diminished. It says, and I will make an everlasting covenant with them, listen, to be their power, and they shall be my people, and I will no more drive my people of Israel out of the land, see, that I have given them. But you see, again, this is prophecy. It hasn't happened yet. But you see, this is how we know who we are, man, because of the prophecy, you know, because of the spirit of the Lord. Let's get one more. Let's go to the book of Isaiah chapter 44 and verse 1. You know, when you also go to what Ezekiel 37 chapter, the valley of the dry bones, we're not going to get it. But that's speaking about right here in so-called America. It's speaking about a particular place. You see? But you're also going to have what? Israelites waking up to the four corners of the earth. Because the Lord is going to gather his elect from the four corners. Matter of fact, let me grab that. That's the book of Matthew. And I'll go right to the point. Chapter 24. And let me see. I don't know if I want to start it. Yeah, I'll just go ahead and start at verse. I just go to verse 30, and then I'll read verse 31. It says, and then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, and then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven, see, with power and great glory. That's Yahweh Shai, coming with the angels, man. He's going to be the fathership, okay, and then you're going to have the rest of those spaceships, okay, coming behind him. Okay, that's the chariot of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, man. The so-called UFOs. Listen, and he shall send his angels, See, with the great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together, listen, his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven, see, to the other. Okay, again, telling you that we are scattered to the four corners. You see, we have not gone back to that land as a people yet, although we do have some Israelites among those people. Okay, we have those Israelites and right now in Damona, and then we have other Israelites that may look, okay, like the other nations. You know, may look like those little hats, okay, may look like so-called Arabs, so-called Hamites. You see, but the Lord's going to gather all of the elect, man. He said, not one grain, okay, will be left. You see, it tells you that what in Amos the 9th chapter. Let me grab it. Amos chapter 9, and let me see. Yeah, verse 9. Amos 9, verse 9. It says, for lo, I will command and I will sift, listen, the house of Israel among all nations, like as a corn is sifted in a sieve. Listen, yet shall not the least grain fall upon the earth. Let me read it in the NLT. It says, for I will give the command and will shake Israel along with the other nations as grain is shaken in a sieve. It says, yet not one true kernel will be lost. You see that those kernels is speaking about the elect of Israel, man. You see? So no matter where we've been scattered to, the Lord going to gather his people. You see, but it won't be till then, till the true Israelites go back into the land. You see, because first they got to be gathered what? Into the marriage supper of the Lamb, okay, into the chariot. Okay, matter of fact, let me grab that too. That's Isaiah chapter 26 and verse 20. Listen, it says, come, my people, enter thou into thy chambers and shut thy doors about thee. Hide thyself, as it were, for a little moment until the indignation be overpassed. Okay, once that destruction, okay, takes place, it's going to take a certain amount of time, okay, for for everything to clear up. Now the Lord could snap his fingers, but it's going to take time, man. Okay, that marriage supper of the Lamb is going to take time. Okay, you're going to have the crowning. Okay, you're going to have the Lord, drink that wine. Okay, with the servants. Okay, with his people. You see, so it's not written how long it's going to take, but it's going to take some time. And then it talks about what New Jerusalem coming down. Matter of fact, let me get that too. It's the book of Revelations, chapter 21, and I'll just start off from verse 1. Listen, it says the new heaven, sea, and earth. It says, and I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth was passed away. Talking about this first earth age, man. Okay, Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. Why? Because the Edomites, they're in that position of power, but they're going to lose. Listen, and there was no more sea, meaning there's going to be no more, okay, pagan rulerships. Okay, the time of the Gentiles is going to be over. Listen, and I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from the Most High, see, out of heaven, prepare as a bride adorned, see, for her husband. It says, and I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, behold, the tabernacle of the Most High is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people, and the Lord himself, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, shall be with them and be their power. But you see, before all this takes place, okay, the prophecy is what? Is for our people to wake up, man. You see, our people to understand, okay, who they are, okay, who their enemies are. And again, it's all according to prophecy. That's how we know, that we are the people. Let's go ahead and get that Isaiah 44, and then we'll close it out. Isaiah 44 and verse 1. Listen, yet now hear, O Jacob, my servant, and Israel, whom I have chosen. That's plain. The Lord's only dealing with his people, the Israelites. Okay, beginning with the elect. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, that made thee and formed thee from the womb, which will help thee. Says, fear not, O Jacob, my servant, and thou Yasharon, whom I have chosen. Okay, Yasharon meaning what? The upright ones. And who are the upright ones? Okay, the elect. Really all Israel, but the elect, okay, on this side. On the side where the destruction is going to take place. But then all Israel, okay, in the kingdom, as it is written. Okay, then all Israel shall be saved. Romans 11 and 26. Listen, for I will pour water upon him that is thirsty and floods upon the dry ground. Going back to what? Ezekiel 37, man. Okay, those dry bones. But again, although we're going to have Israelites waking up, okay, in the four corners of the earth. Listen, I will pour my spirit upon thy seed and my blessing upon thy offspring. It says, and they shall spring up as among the grass, as willows by the watercourses. Meaning you're going to have Israelites waking up everywhere. Listen, one shall say, I am the Lord's, Yahweh Hashem Yoshai's, and another shall call himself by the name of Jacob. So you're going to have, okay, the people recognizing, okay, who they are, man. Okay, having that spirit put upon them to understand that they are the people of the Lord, man, that they're Israelites. And another shall subscribe with his hand unto the Lord, Yahweh Hashem Yoshai, and surname himself by the name of Israel. You see, they're going to call themselves Israelites. They're going to give themselves Hebrew names. You see? And this is all prophecy. You see, so it's according, okay, to the prophecies, okay, that we know who we are. So with that, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. I'm going to close out and give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah, Kodash, and double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and the elders of the great millstone, from which I learned his truth. Peace and blessings to the house of David, doing his work with all righteousness, truth, and sincerity. And I want to say shalom to the hopeful elect. Shalom.